Hello and greetings from Iceland. When will the eruption come to an end? And where will the next chapter take place? And what about the future of the Reykjanes Peninsula? And even our capital, Reykjavik? And those questions will be the main theme of today's video, and I'm starting with the ongoing eruption. There seems to be some kind of balance between the influx of magma into the Svartsengi reservoir and the eruption, and the inflation from March 18th is 3 centimeters, way less than we got used to, and no inflation has been detected in the last few days. So the magma flows freely from the lower magma chamber through the upper magma chamber or magma sill, from where it feeds the ongoing eruption through the 2 remaining craters, or a situation that we actually wished for, or magma path with no obstacles. And Professor Þorvaldur Þórðarson thinks that when this eruption stops, it will mark the end of this chapter that started in 2020 with several failed magma intrusions. It was then in 2021 when activity moved to the mountain Faradalsfjall with 3 eruptions, or before it went back to the mountain Þorbjörn, where it all started. The eruption could, however, go on for months, like the first eruption went on for 6 months, but this is, however, not a tourist eruption like we had back then. The access is still restricted, and it will still be so for at least a few weeks more. There is increased pressure to open up the area, but as always, it has to be safety first. And the Met Office was saying that the magma that erupts now originates at more than 10 kilometers depth, even 15 plus, and it is possible that it comes up from the same source that fed the first 3 eruptions, but they still need more data about the chemical composition to confirm it. And now, while the eruption goes on still strong, the Blue Lagoon is trying to reopen, and the gas pollution is still a problem from time to time. So I'm not sure how this will turn out for them, and if I hear anything before I upload this, I will add that information to the video description. And since this might turn out to be a long eruption, all plans about rebuilding Grindavík will remain on hold, but it looks a bit better for them now when it comes to the lava flow. The eruption isn't that big, and the new lava has actually formed a new line of defense for the town, at least as things look now. So we all hope that this chapter is coming to an end now, but we may not forget that this is only a chapter. The whole book might span 200-300 years, according to experts, and the history has showed us through lava layers that the activity will shift between different systems from time to time. Like Professor Þórðarson, he was saying that the earthquakes are indicating that the next chapter might take place in the huge Krýsuvík system. And the Trölladyngja volcano near Reykjavik that we see here in the background, it is also a place of interest. I actually found increase in ground temperature there with my thermal drone last year, and reported those findings, of course. So for me, those places are no surprise. The earthquakes alone have their own story to tell about that, and Professor Ármann Höskuldsson went even further the other day when he was saying that the Krýsuvík system has in fact already woken up. So it is just a matter of time when it goes off full force. So Icelandic scientists, they seem to be expecting a shift to the east from Grindavík, or after Mother Earth is done by Svartsengi. And what I've noticed lately is more reduction in seismic activity than I've seen after all prior eruptions. So that area looks quite normal now on the seismometers. Even the offshore earthquakes have decreased a whole lot. And that is happening while things are getting way more tense on the eastern part of the peninsula. Although this could all change in an instant, as we all know. And I tend to use the 48-hour earthquake map quite a lot. The resolution is low, but good enough to see trends come and go. And recently, due to how the earthquakes line up from time to time, I've often been thinking about the large earthquake we get every 50 years or so in the so-called Sulphur Mountains. So might it be that the big one isn't far away, because I see seismic swarms line up by this fault every now and the Met Office warned us officially about this just weeks ago. So it is earthquakes around here that make me wonder a bit from time to time. But we should perhaps be more worried about Lake Klefarvatn and that area midst on the Reykjanes Peninsula, and the lake itself is in this depression in the land caused by a collapsed magma chamber roof, just like Lake Askja on the highlands, and many of the earthquakes line up along the southwest-northeast fissure under the lake. This is a remarkable area. Just by we have this nice set of explosion craters and a large and unusual hot spring that came into being after a large earthquake there in 1929. And I have a video about that hot spring coming online very soon. But my guess now is that this area around the lake might become the next epicenter for the things to come, but we might have to wait for some time. Could be a long time, but I do, however, think that it will be sooner than later. We have years of earthquake data showing us how this area has been building up for something, and I was always under the impression that if the Reykjanes Peninsula would wake up during my lifetime, it would be the Krýsuvík system that would be the first, but it turned out to be Svartsengi. And to be logical, not too technical, the events by Svartsengi are categorized as a volcanic tectonic episode where Mother Earth is correcting accumulated tension since the last such episode 800 years ago, meaning that the GPS roadmaps from the peninsula will be unusable by time due to all the ground displacement that awaits us. And we are talking about meters, not centimeters. We are on the plate boundaries. So recently there was a TV program about the Krýsuvík volcanic system in the Icelandic TV, and I took it as a kind of soft warning, and maybe a bit too soft warning for my taste. The Krýsuvík system runs through almost the complete peninsula, through the lake Klefarvatn and all the way into the city, where it runs through several residential areas, but it has to be clear that no eruptions occur on that part of the system. But the land there is very fractured, and our building regulations still allow houses to be built by fractures, not directly on top of them, but beside them. So are our building regulations up to date, or are we just making a huge mistake? And that question is excellent material for a long video that I've been working on little by little since 2021. The story is always growing and the script keeps on changing, and my gut feeling is that we will be faced with many challenges. Like an eruption by the volcano Hengill, it could take out a lot of our energy production, and the hot water pipelines as well. So a large-scale event around the city, it might change it forever. More and more people would choose to move elsewhere. Companies might move elsewhere, and the people will follow the companies. And there are already discussions about moving government institutions away from the city, because we have so many sensitive eggs in that basket alone. There are even voices out there talking about a new location for the international airport that is today on the Reykjanes Peninsula, the westernmost part of it. But it is also one of the oldest part of the peninsula, so we don't expect any eruptions near the airport. But air pollution could of course become a problem. The airport roads could close, and if we get an offshore eruption, which is not unlikely with ashfall and the whole package, we would find ourselves in serious troubles. Not just the tourism industry, but the fresh fish export and all the import that goes through the airport. And there are only 2 other airports in Iceland with longer runways for jets, but they are not suitable to serve the whole country. Far from it, actually. And as for Reykjavík, into the future, I'm actually not afraid of Mother Nature, while we are well equipped to detect every movement on the blade boundaries. But I'm more afraid of bad politicians and contractors selling dangerous building land, despite all the knowledge we have already. And surprisingly, there is still very little long-term thinking going on regarding planning issues. And what we need to do is to draw a line and decide to build a city away from the plate boundaries and improve the road connections from the city as well. So this will be a very important topic here on the channel. I've shot a lot of footage for that coverage, and I just need time to build that into a video series. And if the eruption slows down soon, I might find that time to move on with that project, or to show you all the volcanic systems around the city in details. Because as I've been saying for a long time, if our forefathers had the same knowledge as we have today in geology, Reykjavík would not be where it is today. I do, however, believe that the city will survive through this next 200-300 years. But like with Grindavík, if the town survives, there are parts of it that will never be used again. And we do have a chance now to get some kind of control and use the knowledge we have now to be sensible when it comes to new building land. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.